All right, Algebra 1 students, here's the second page. Again, I made this shorter so we could do like quicker, small videos that would correspond a little better. We're just trying it out to see if you like it. So here's page 2. So go ahead and go to page 2. Now, here's a situation. So if we take a piece of paper and fold it, what happens? Okay? So if you have 0 folds in your paper, you have 1 layer. Well, if you take a piece of paper and fold it in half, well, you fold it once and you fold it in half, now you have 2 layers. If you fold that in half, think about it. Those 2 layers you fold in half, you're doubling it, you now have 4. If you fold it again, you're doubling it again because those 4 layers get stacked on the other 4 layers and you have 8. If you fold it one more time, you have 16 layers of paper. Okay? Don't believe me, take your paper and fold it a couple times to see. So, what does a graph of this look like? Well, we could draw a real quick graph. So here's a very quick graph. I drew my scale. So at 0 folds, we had 1 layer of paper. At 1 fold, we had 2 layers of paper. At 2 folds, we had 4 layers of paper. At 3 folds, we had 8. And at 4 folds, we had 16. So you can see our graph starts off kind of slow and then shoots way up. So that's what that looks like. Okay, if we keep folding it, it's going to continue to start growing faster and faster and faster. So let's write an exponential function that models this situation. Okay, remember, we are multiplying by 2 every time. So from 1 to 2, we multiply by 2. Then we multiply by 2 again. Then we multiply by 2 every single time as we're going up. So a function that's going to model this, f of x, is 2 to the x power. Remember, if we had 1 fold, that's 2 to the first. If we had 2 folds, 2 squared, which is 2 times 2, 4. If we had 3 folds, that means we have 2 to the third. That means 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. And 4 folds does the same thing. 2 to the fourth, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 16. So here's where this comes from. X is our input, right? That was the number of times we folded. And f of x, or y as we sometimes call it, is our output. In our case, that was the number of layers. A is our initial value. B is our growth factor. So that's just a brief introduction. Now, did you notice we had our first term, our 1? And we could fill it in here. Then we multiplied it by b, which was our growth factor. So we multiplied it by 2. Then in 2, we multiplied it by 2 times 2, because we had that old term from right here before it, and we just multiply it by our growth factor. Then from that last one, we had 1, 2, 3. There's that third, a times b, and we just multiplied it by another b.